Google. Okay, the Chromebook is a new Google product. It's a physical hardware product. They seem to have just overnight stepped into the hardware universe. Android aside, whatever. They just woke up one day and said, hey, I'm just going to start making laptops. And what they're doing is devastatingly brilliant and completely and utterly evil. Or intelligent. It's kind of the two things are one and the same most of the time. They basically said, hey, Apple, you got MacBook Airs. You've spent hundreds of millions of dollars advertising your MacBook Airs. Everybody loves your MacBook Airs. Everybody thinks that you need to have one. They all look amazing. I'm just going to take a MacBook Air and make it by Samsung. And I'm going to make it look exactly the same as your MacBook Air. All that advertising money, all of that, schema and all that stuff that you have been working on for years, I'm just going to make it, and I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it $200 so that everybody can afford it, so that you can buy 5 for the price of one MacBook Air. It looks exactly the same. You don't have to worry about viruses. You have apps that you download for free. You don't have to install programs. I'm assuming Google Docs is going to take the place of Microsoft Word, and you're automatically hooked up to Google Drive. You get 100 free gigs of Google Drive space, so it's automatically connected to all of Google's other products, and it looks exactly the same as a MacBook Air. Steve Jobs is in heaven right now choking out angels, trying to get back down to earth to strangle somebody at Google headquarters because they just hijacked the MacBook Air design. And there's nothing they can do about it. They're going to wind up in court again like they did over Android. I am amazed that this got this far without me hearing about it. But wow, that is, business-wise, that is brilliant. Somebody spends that much money and advertising, cred on making their product seem like the most cool-looking thing in the world. Not the best functioning, but the most cool-looking thing in the world. And then you just make something that looks exactly the same. Who would have thought it? Wow, that makes a lot of sense, actually. I think oh God, there's going to be court cases. This is going to blow up. Apple's going to do something strange, and they got $1 trillion that they're sitting on, so they're going to probably try to take Google to court. But dear God, look at this thing. It looks exactly the same as a MacBook Air. It looks exactly the same, and it's made by Samsung, so they're gonna, it's $200 too. And that's the thing, Apple computers always just cost a little bit more, and their whole thing is, even if you don't know how to use a computer, people that know how to use computers use PCs, and send the hate mail to this address. People that know how to use computers and take apart computers and, install a bunch of programs and drop-down menus, use PCs, and Google's just like, hey, let's make a really simple-to-use computer that is technically a PC, but let's just call it a Chromebook, and it'll just be our own thing. This is obviously, releasing to be in competition, direct competition with Windows 8, which is Windows becoming more like Apple, that whole app day, that whole, situation where they're becoming more like Apple, and everybody's chasing the iPhone and the iPad, which, let me just go ahead and put my stamp on this. I think that's a really dumb thing to do. I don't think Google and Microsoft should be chasing Apple. I think they should be making their own product better, not chasing what somebody else is doing, because you're never going to catch up to the innovation on that, in that strategy. You're always going to be 2 steps behind, so, whatever. But Google seems to we're just, in their path to take over the world, they're just taking out Apple. Apparently that path to take over the world makes them have to walk through Apple's backyard, and well, power to them. But, dear God, just look at that thing. It's a MacBook Air. But, Google!